Christmas 2007. We're going to do it retro style. We're going to go back to what Christmas is all about, and what better place to begin the Christmas season than here in New York City. Now I got to tell you, I am freezing to death. It is in the 30s, and all I've got is a sweater. I mean, who knew when we left it was 80 degrees in Miami? But we're here because in the 60s and the 70s, you saw love signs everywhere. You saw peace signs everywhere. And what is the greatest love sign that's ever been given? Well, it's when Jesus put on skin and was born in a manger. And at the very beginning, in that story in Luke chapter 2, it says this. It says, "Unto you today a Savior is born, and his name is Christ the Lord." The Jews were looking for a Messiah. They were looking for someone to rescue them from persecution, to set them free, to give them a hope, safety, security, a refuge. In the late 1600s, the Puritans traveled to this new world in search of freedom, freedom from persecution. A little over 2 centuries later, 12 million people made their way to that little island over there, many of them in search of the same thing. The word persecution means to oppress or to put down, exterminate an individual or a group of people because of what they believe. Many times that belief pertains to their religion. You know, persecution's not a new idea. It goes all the way back to the beginning with the first family. In the book of Genesis, Cain persecuted Abel. That persecution, it ended in murder. The answer to persecution is a refuge. It's what the Jews were looking for in the Messiah, and it's what the millions were looking for as they traveled in here to New York Harbor and looked up and saw Lady Liberty. And that feeling that, you know, is deep down inside of you, that sense of safety, that sense of arrival, that place of refuge. A refuge. That's exactly what this place is and was. It's hard to believe that over 12 million people walked in those doors. They wrote their names on stairways and countertops and walls. And they were experiencing that feeling, that sense of security, that sense of hope that only comes with a refuge. You know, a little closer to home where I live in South Florida, again, hundreds of people every year risk their lives trying to cross the Florida Straits on makeshift boats, hoping that they can put their feet on dry ground and again discover freedom from persecution. History tells us that of all the names that are written on the inside, 2% of them were sent back home, either as a result of criminal activity, they were insane, or had some kind of disease. Back home in South Florida, almost every week on the news we hear about those who almost make it to the beach but get sent back to their places, sent back to be persecuted. And because everybody can't come to where we are, it's our responsibility to go where they are with a love sign. To express God's love to the persecuted, to be a love sign What an awesome responsibility. And you know, every year we challenge you guys to give your greatest gift to Christ during the Christmas season. You know, not to Sony or Apple or to Microsoft. And that's a huge challenge, right? I mean, I know at our home we always talk about it. We challenge the staff, and those of you that are new, just kind of hanging out, man, I want to invite you to get involved in this. Every Christmas season, we really do our best so that you can experience the cool things that your generosity is doing all year long. And that's the biggest challenge. As God does more and more through this community called Flamingo, it's hard to let all of us get our arms around it. But that's what we're trying to do this holiday season with video. And I want to challenge you to pray about that and to think about that. You know, I've been to Cuba maybe 10 times, and we've done a lot there in the last decade. The Flamingo's built 3 different churches. They've put on conferences. They've helped out with youth camp. We've smuggled in instruments. You know, last time we went, I took this big drum, and the only problem is I'm not a musician, and and I don't speak Spanish, you know, jingle bells, you know, I didn't know what to say or what to do. But man, it's so cool to see, to actually go to the campus there and see them using that instruments. This year, we went down there as Pastor Ricardo launched a brand new facility in downtown Havana. Think about that. I mean, this campus cost over $100,000, and we were a part of that. You and I were a part of that. And this is in Havana, where everything else is just kind of falling apart. So when you think about greatest gift, when you think about the Christmas season, I want to ask you, think about doing something that makes a difference. Think about the fact that you and me together can be a love sign to the persecuted. It's hard for me to imagine what people like this felt like as they looked off the bow of the boat, saw Lady Liberty there in the distance, and felt that longing and that hope for safety and security, a refuge. And while